Hi YouTube. So this tape measure has gone wrong. I think my kids used it out in the garden and it got wet or something, and it's now very stiff and won't retract by itself. So let's take it apart, see what's inside and see if it can be fixed. I've bought a new one, so let's sacrifice this one for science. So that centre screw was smaller than the others, maybe that didn't need to come out, I don't know. Let's see. Ooh. It's stuck at the top there. Oop, there we go. Alright, okay, so where's the tape? A spring in the centre, so you can see that it's got this spiral spring is hooked onto that centre post. So as you put it out, the spring gets wound up. It does want to retract now that I'm doing this. It looks like it's just got a bit of mud or something in there, and maybe it can be saved. It's going to try and spring apart the first time I look at it the wrong way, so I'll try to not let that happen. And this is the brake mechanism, so that's very simple. Feels a bit crusty, but it's not broken or anything. There's a bit of the black rubber over moulding in the bottom there, so that's so that comes through from the over moulding on the outside. Provides a bit of a cushion. I guess that's what the brake presses the tape against to stop it. Yeah, it's just a bit generally dirty and crusty, but nothing's broken, so I'll give these bits a clean and see if it can be put back together, and maybe it'll work properly again. It'll probably be a very bad idea to try and take this spool out of here, because the spring is going to be hard to replace, but I'm kind of tempted to do it anyway. You can see it's just got a bit of dirt in there next to the red button. That's another brake. This has a button on the side here that you can press as you're retracting the tape. You can press that to slow it down, so that's just pressing against the back of the tape spool there. Yeah, so I managed to get this spool out without any problems, but as you can see it's very dirty inside, so I think this is what the problem is. Got grit and dirt has got inside. There's a bit of grease on this to help it move smoother, but now the grease is full of grit and sand and rubbish, so yeah, I think a good clean up should see this working properly again, so I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so this piece is all nice and clean now. Just need to try and reassemble it, so that's the back piece. I need to mainly get the spool back into this this base piece here. So the difficult bit is just going to be getting the right tension on the spring. So I've put masking tape, painter's tape around the spool to stop it from all flying to pieces. And my plan is put a little dab of oil on the back to replace the grease, which I've washed off. Get the spring engaged and then try and put a bit of pre-tension on it somehow and hope that that's going to work. So what's the worst that could happen? So that centre sort of S shape just hooks into the slot in there. So now I think if I rotate this a few times, maybe just once that way, that looks about right actually, compared to how it looked before. Bit of tension on the spring there. With any luck that's going to work quite well. It does return. Maybe it needs one more kind of bit of tension on it just to make it work a bit better. That feels about right from what I remember. Okay, so then slots in here. It's got sort of inner and outer edges to it. Now I just need to get this back together. There's a little tab up here which is important. Is that going to go in? It's not quite sitting down properly. What have I done wrong? Maybe we'll start with that on there, like that. Well, that's got to fit in there, I see. Okay, so there's little raised pieces. There are 3 raised ears on this section that need to go into the middle in the right place here. One of those ears is broken off actually. I hadn't noticed that. So there were 4 ears on this, but this one's broken at the top here. Maybe that's part of the problem with the whole thing. It needs to go that way up. Okay, there we go. So that piece was meant to be kind of attached to the spool. So again, maybe that's partly why it wasn't working properly. That should have been in there like that. It's kind of retained in there now. Okay, so now put the lid back on again. Result. Okay, so I think that's absolutely fixed it. Works perfectly smoothly now. Got rid of all that horrible gritty feel that was stopping it from coming out easily. Feels like it's got about the right amount of tension on it. I'll have to try if I can actually extend it to the full 5 meters, because if I've overwound that spring, it may not, the spring might bind up fully wound before the tape comes all the way out. But anyway, I'll try that in a second. I'm going to put the belt clip back on, I think, although, shall I? I never use it. I don't think that screw in the middle is that important. But the belt clip is removable. I think I'll put the screw back in, but without the belt clip. The brake works. This brake works as well. So, fixed. I've already spent £5 on another one, but now I've got 2, so can't complain about that.